More than 150 people die each day from opioid overdoses. That includes fentanyl, which is 50 times stronger than heroin and 100 times stronger than morphine.
So there's new hope in the fight against the opioid epidemic. Zach Lajway is here with that new hope. It's a story on how cartels have been targeting children, but then later on a vaccine that you were telling us about earlier, potentially from UH. So there's a lot going on here that's been fueling the epidemic and hopefully finding some solution.
Yeah, and you don't need me here to tell you just how bad this epidemic is here in this country. You know, it's worsening by the year, and it's not just impacting children, it's also impacting parents, adults, grandparents, aunts, uncles, people of all walks, all races. And that's one thing the DEA, the special agent in charge here in Houston, was saying, that these cartels, they're not only fabricating these synthetic opioids and stimulants such as cocaine and heroin, but they're doing this with pills. And they're then targeting children because the pills they're making, the pills they're creating, look like candy. Right. And so, you know, it's enticing to children to see this.
Colorful pieces of like pills that look like candy. Exactly. So how are the cartels using emojis now and using maybe social media to target children as well?
So again, not only are they designing these pills, these opioids to look like candy, but they are using these emojis. As parents, I don't know if this, you know, you look at this. I was not familiar with any of these. This is the chart. I believe we do have some video. There it is, right there. The chart, yeah. But you know, you look at it, Xanax, for example, the emoji code is a pill. What is that, a candy bar maybe?
Yep. Looks like it, yeah.
And a bus.
Right.
And when you see this as a parent, definitely start questioning it. You
of course.
Say, what is this? What are you communicating? What are you guys talking about?
And that's what these agents are saying is key, is that intel from parents and children. You know, we as adults, as children, there are all these apps that have those disappearing capabilities. Messages.
It's like the old cartoons. This message will self-destruct.
Right.
And, you know, now they do. They disappear. One thing I will found, since we're on this topic, my wife and I have for years subscribed to a service called Safer Kid, which was one of many. I'm not just you know, pitching this product, but it's one of many parental controls for phones. And then we opened up the new iPhone iOS, and the controls have gotten so strong. You can turn on the screen, you can turn on apps, you can turn off apps. The only issue was following up on the text messages, and one of the services I like is one where you can actually read the text. You can see the conversation. There is no disappearing because it goes through this service, and you'll have a record of any of those conversations, which can be life-saving.
Yeah.
It's not just knowing that your children are on these phones, but what's the content of the conversation?
What they're saying.
To Zach's point about the emojis, because this stuff will slip through the cracks very quickly.
Yeah, and you see these codes and you're like, oh, that's really cute, but you don't know that it's for cough syrup or heroin or mushrooms.
Can we talk about the vaccine before you
Yes.
go? They gave us 30
so
seconds.
scientists at University of Houston, they just developed this vaccine. It's a vaccine for fentanyl. It blocks fentanyl from entering the brain, and the body then develops antibodies. So if it does come in contact with this drug, this opioid, it prevents the euphoric parts of the brain that could lead to overdose, non-fatal and fatal overdose, which would be death.
And that's obviously hope for any families that are dealing with addiction in their lives. There's also a drug called Vivitrol, which has been known to block the brain receptors to opioids. That's another one you can look into. But
this is not out there just yet. 1 year they're anticipating.
Okay, so this is another one to come. So again, sadly we have to talk about that, but the bright side of it, there is some hope. And we're getting more information on the daily.
Yes, sir.
That's huge. Zach, thank you for this.